Aunt Nell.
Underwear drawers are like the Wild West of wardrobes. You never know what pair you're going to pull out or what shape it's in. It's time to upgrade your underwear drawer with the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. Plus, it's breathable and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping, at MeUndies.com/ACAST. Enter promo code ACAST. That's MeUndies.com/ACAST. Code ACAST.
This episode includes discussions of suicide and transphobia.
The Quilt.
Living memories of queer Britain and Northern Ireland. With me, Tash Walker.
And me, Adam Smith.
Hello, Adam.
Hello, Tash. You know what? Despite all the work that we've done together, Tash, I reckon there's loads of stories we haven't captured.
There's got to be, from all the different places.
Yeah. And now is the time, because queer people, more than ever, are recognising the power of their experiences and their memory.
I want to hear them, Adam.
Yes.
You know what, Adam?
What?
We've got to do it. We've got to travel around the UK.
Yes.
Let's get gathering the stories, the histories, the herstories.
Their stories. Okay, I'm ready.
Let's go.
This is an audio archive for the future.
Adam.
Yes.
Are you ready?
Yeah, where are we going?
We're going to the Northwest.
Oh, brilliant. I love the Northwest. Such a great history of progressive movements.
Yep.
Like the people who fought for the votes for the working class in Manchester, and the cooperative movement comes from Rochdale.
Yeah, and don't forget Emmeline Pankhurst.
Yeah.
She was from Manchester, and it was where she founded the Women's Social and Political Union.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of progressive thinking. And when I went there, I met these queer people who really struck me by how they were thinking progressively about their faith.
Yeah, I think that's really needed, actually, because, well, to me anyway, religion or faith and queerness are uneasy bedfellows.
Yeah, and for me, I was brought up Catholic. I left the church at 14, but it was really complex and difficult and heartbreaking, and I have a lot of conflict around faith and queerness and religion.
Yeah, well, I'm really interested then to hear the stories that you found in the Northwest.
Well, I spoke to people who were thinking about their queerness in faith, stories that are full of nature, prayer, and ancestry. And I went to visit a church like none I'd ever been to before, in a little village called Didsbury on the outskirts of Manchester, which is where I met Adelaide.
I'm Adelaide. I'm a black queer woman living in Manchester. I am a person of faith. I'd like to say that I'm a very spiritual person. I'm very open.
And she was really open. We started talking about her coming to terms with her sexuality and her faith, and how that started.
It was like my brain was keeping it a secret until I had the skills to be able to deal with what it meant maybe to be gay or to be a lesbian, and also to try and be a Christian and fit into a world where, you know, I'd grown up being told we love the sinner but we hate the sin. That was the era. Imagine telling young people that. And I remember being in like a really close-knit group of friends as I was growing up, sort of in my late teens in church. And we had one friend, and I'll never forget this conversation with him. And he was like, you know, I really wish I could have what you guys have, but God can't love me because I'm gay. I was like, hang on a minute, that makes no sense. And I took that to some of the adults, you know, that were guiding me, and their answers were not adequate. And I was like, no, I'm okay. I feel like I can't really hold this in the way that I used to, because it doesn't align with the things that I believe. It doesn't even align with the things that I've been taught. And actually the things that I were taught about God, which is that I was made in the image of God, that nothing is a surprise to God, was actually the thing that got me to acceptance very quickly. Once I'd been able to kind of admit to myself the fullness of identity, it was literally like a second and I was like, okay, well, God's okay with this. God's been like, what took you so long? So if everything that I've been taught is true, that God loves me for who I am, I was created in God's image, then all of this is okay.
It was so fascinating speaking to Adelaide about her journey with faith and sexuality, especially as I no longer have a faith. And, sexuality was one of those big turning points for me when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, Adelaide's story is just such a classic example of why a lot of people don't feel welcome in organised religion. Even me as someone without a religion, I can imagine that is hard to come to terms with.
Yeah. And I wanted to hear more and understand more of Adelaide's journey, specifically about an inclusive church she was once a member of, which is really pushing for change in this area. So I met her there to tell me more. Can you describe to me where we are and what we can see?
Yeah, so we're outside the front of Home Cafe, which is at Emmanuel Church in Didsbury Village. It's quite a windy day, but it's a really beautiful blue sky day, which is not what it was like when I left home this morning. It feels strange to be here, I guess, because I feel like I've not been away.
When was the last time you were here?
The last time I was kind of properly here to come into the church was maybe 2019. So the back of the church here, it feels very churchy. We're just going to go in one of the side doors of the church. It's a big wooden church door. Oh. And then there's kind of been an adaptation in the church, so it's a bit more of a modern space inside. So it still has some of the main structure, like with the pillars and columns and stuff, but it doesn't have pews, so it's just got wooden seats laid out.
What's going on over here?
Yeah, so this morning we've got the women's breakfast. I just noticed, so the person that's walked in is a curate here, and they're also queer.
Which one is it?
So it's Lexi. She literally just disappeared behind the pillar there, but it's not just come in and be welcome, but it's we're all here and we're in all positions of the church, because that is another thing that you might encounter, where it's fine for you to be part of the church congregation, the church family, but any kind of positions or might be seen as elevated positions, that's not a place for you. And that mould is completely broken here in this church, but also in the parish and the diocese.
Hi, I'm Reverend Lexi. My pronouns are she, her. I'm a curate here, part-time at St James and Emmanuel. I run our evening congregation, the 6:15 congregation, and I also coordinate our student and young adult ministry, as well as our women and gender minority breakfasts. I identify as a gay woman. I have a beautiful wife. We are expecting a son in T-minus 9.5 weeks.
Okay, well, best of luck for that.
Thank you.
Can you tell me what you were doing this morning?
Yes, so we had our women and gender minority breakfast. It's a breakfast that we kind of come together as those that identify as a woman or gender minority. It's a safe space for fellowship, for friendship. We share bacon buns. This morning we made a safe space to talk about what it means to be LGBTQ+, what Pride Month means. I invited a non-binary friend of mine to come and speak about what their experiences of being non-binary are. This church, St James and Emmanuel, is the best and most healing place for me. I came as a very, very broken little gay person who had been kicked out of her previous church for her sexuality and was taken off of various leadership roles and such. I was then fully embraced by this place. I became the youth leader, and then since then have gone on to be ordained. I've been loved, I've been nurtured, and to be able to be in a place where I am able to freely be myself, express myself, and to also minister to other people, to live out my calling that I believe that God has given me, and to also hold hands with my wife at the front of church, and it's just not a big deal, is a beautiful and a sacred thing to be able to do.
Amen.
Well, Lexi makes that church sound like the place for people like Adelaide. I bet there's a whole story there about that.
Yeah, there really is. And actually, I spoke to the vicar, Nick, too, and started to learn more about the history of this church, how it came to be the way it is today.
Oh, cool.
But before that, Adelaide and I found a quiet space and sat down to talk about how she first came to St James and Emmanuel.
So the first time I came to Emmanuel Church, we came to an evening service. A friend had been pestering us to come along, basically. And he'd specifically been on a journey to find an affirming church as a gay man. And we'd met in another church in Manchester a little while before. Yeah, I came along for an evening service and was just really kind of blown away. Nick Bundock, he was doing the Eucharist and just gave this really beautiful kind of blessing really over LGBTQ plus people, that they belonged in church and in church families, that they were created in the image of God as everybody else is. And it was on that occasion that I learnt about Lizzie Lowe and her story and her family and the impact that had on this church.
My name is Nick Bundock, and I'm a vicar. Actually, technically, I'm a rector, and I'm the rector of St James and Emmanuel Church in Didsbury in South Manchester. How would I describe St James and Emmanuel Church? It's wild. It's like a party. It's big, diverse. We've got people from every corner of the globe. We've got same-sex couples. We've got non-binary. We've got trans members. We've got professional families who live in South Manchester and, uni professors. And it's just the most amazing group of people, so talented. And I think you'd probably also describe it, if you know anything about the kind of church scene, you'd probably describe it as being evangelical, but not like you've ever known it before. Because that particular strand of the Christian faith is normally not known for being incredibly inclusive of sexual minority groups. I'd also say it's also worth mentioning that it's Anglican. We're part of the Diocese of Manchester. And it's just the loveliest community you could ever want to be part of. But it wasn't always like that. We changed as a church following the death of one of our teenage members, Lizzie Lowe, who died by suicide on the 10th of September 2014. So we're 10 years now. Lizzie's death was the start of a total revolution in the way we thought about ourselves, about faith, about other people, about God, about sexuality, about everything, really. And in a way, the magnitude of the tragedy that unfolded in our church is now kind of mirrored by this giant wave that kind of rippled out from that event. And it's transformed our church, but it's actually transforming other churches as people hear our story. So it's Lizzie's death has had a massive impact over the last 10 years. It was obviously the most appalling shock to the whole church and the wider community, because she was well known. And, I'd known Lizzie since she was a toddler herself. She was 14 when she died. But we, at the time, obviously, we didn't know what had prompted Lizzie's decision. And that only became apparent, certainly to me, at the coroner's hearing, which was 3 months after she died, which is quite quick, actually, after a death like that, for the hearing to take place. But it was at the hearing where we discovered that, among other things, one of the big struggles for Lizzie was an inability to reconcile her Christian faith, which was very important to her and deep and deeply rooted in her family as well. And the fact that she was, I think, realising and beginning to understand that she was a gay young woman. And it became apparent from things that her friends said, text messages, things she'd searched online, that she couldn't make sense of this difference between what she thought her faith was saying and how she was experiencing herself as a gay woman. And there was one message which I think I remember from the hearing, which said, "God can't love me this way." And obviously we don't know for sure what part that finally played in her decision, but it was fairly clear from the hearing that it was an important factor. And that was the moment everything changed for us. And as we walked away, I just remember thinking, we have got to make a 180-degree turn on this, and we have got to do things radically differently. I mean, in the language of the church, in the language of the Christian faith, it's called repentance. And the irony is, of course, is that the church is often wagging its finger at gay people, saying, you need to repent, And yet it was actually us. We're the ones that needed to. And in the stories of in the New Testament, in the stories of Jesus, repentance always leads to new life. And actually that's what we've also found, is that dreadful moment of realization actually led to 10 years of new life. I've often wondered why Lizzie didn't feel able to speak to any of us about the way she was feeling, about, the complex emotions and feelings that a 14-year-old girl often has about their identity. Actually, we didn't really, as a church, talk about sexuality at all. I've always known that it's a controversial area in the church, and so my position really was, well, this is best left unspoken, because some people in our church were what you might call quite progressive on this, some were conservative on this, and all we'll be doing is stirring up a hornet's nest. So I didn't really address the issue. Thought it was best dealt with in family settings or in school or with peers or whatever. So there was a vacuum of silence, and I think what I've come to realise is that actually silence is deadly.
I know.
Yeah, this is one of those things, isn't it, where an organisation or an institution says, we're not getting involved, or it's not our place, or whatever. And really, that's not good enough. Like, what is the point of a group of people coming together, say, as a church, if they're not creating a space where people can talk about what they're going through?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And that silence that Nick talks about, as someone who was brought up in the church, I found that particularly affecting.
Yeah, I wonder what Adelaide thinks about that.
Yeah, well, Adelaide has a lot to say, actually, about the impact of that silence.
The silence of a church, or the silence of anybody, allows you to fill in the gap. And the gap is usually filled with whatever the general narrative is. So if you don't have, this is a conversation about clarity again, because if I tell you that you're not welcome here, then you know that you're not welcome here. And if I tell you that you're welcome here, then you know that you're welcome here. But if I don't say anything, your brain fills in the gaps, and you'll fill in the gaps with whatever the kind of general message is, or maybe the message from other people that hold similar values to you. So if you think about the message that the church, big C, is giving about queer community, that is, you're wrong to exist, or you don't exist, and you're not welcome unless you change. That God will condemn you. And so if you're a young person, or if you're any person, when there's silence, all you can do is fill in the gap. And that can lead to really dark places. Some of the thinking and the kind of reckoning that queer people have to do is for their survival. It's literally life and death. But if you're being challenged in your faith belief and you can't reconcile it with the things that you have been taught or you hold on to and you hold true, there are lots of other options for you. You can live your life comfortable on a Sunday morning. You can do that. You can just not push through the discomfort and not think. And for me, in a way, that epitomizes the problem with church in some ways. It epitomizes the issue with any community where people aren't challenging each other, people aren't encouraging each other to be curious, to question. Isn't that the whole point of faith, right? That you're constantly questioning and feeling, and it's evolving, and there's nothing concrete to hold on to. And I think people don't like that. Everyone wants rules, don't they? Just tell me what to do, keep it simple, I can just live my life. But when you're flexing and there's tension and you're having to push edges that feel uncomfortable, it's work in itself. And some people just aren't committed to doing that work. And there's something for them to hide behind.
Where are you now around your spirituality and your faith?
I don't know where I am with my faith. I know that I'm a really spiritual person. I know that the framework of Christianity, as I've grown up with, makes sense to me. And it's helped me with a wider understanding of spirituality, of the idea of spirit or Holy Spirit being directed to do things. It's given me an amazing understanding of community and what that can truly mean, what that really looks like. It's given me the opportunity to be an intergenerational community, which is my most favourite thing. It's my most favourite thing. There are times when I feel like Christianity isn't expansive enough for the things that I believe, and that there's not enough allowance for me to integrate some of the other things that I believe. And I also have to recognise that as a Black person, there are cultural things that have been lost over time, and that is partly due to Christianity, because it was used to colonise and control people. And in some ways that still remains. So I'm exploring. I probably wouldn't call myself a Christian anymore, but I have Christian beliefs, if that feels different. Yeah. I still pray. I think anybody can pray. I think everybody prays, whether they understand what or whom they're connecting with. Maybe they're talking to themselves. But I still pray. I kind of still set aside time and space. Sometimes I do those, real emergency prayers. Please, can I make this train? Please, can I find a parking space? Or whatever the thing is, the dire emergency in the moment. And there is an element of my prayer that does look like, I guess, communing with ancestors. It's about thinking about the people that loved me and how they may now be in a position, because they're not tied to like an earthly body, to support and guide me. And so my prayers go to them as well. I think it's really important, as somebody who kind of has no immediate family now. I have extended family that I love very much, and yeah, they're wonderful. And there's also a need for me to be connected to those people that are no longer on this earth, who I really dearly loved. And so that's what prayer kind of looks like for me. Sometimes it's just quiet, there are no words. And sometimes, yeah, there are words. Yeah, so I love prayer. I love the power of prayer. Yeah, it's always been really, really central to my faith.
There's something that I'm thinking about as you're talking, and thinking about your ancestors, your mum, who I imagine you pray to, and what you said when we were in the church earlier around the sign, which is intergenerational conversations. It's like, it sounds to me that your prayer is a lot of that as well, which is quite amazing, and I've never thought about it like that.
No, and actually, I've never thought about prayer as an intergenerational conversation. But yes, that is exactly what's happening, right? Because I'm connected by science, like the DNA, we're connected. And therefore, there must be an energetic connection. I don't know how else you'd explain it. And so that prayer is the communication between all the generations. Yeah, all the people that I'm linked to. That's a really wonderful way to think about it.
Intergenerational conversations. We love those, don't we, Adam?
We are all about that, yes. And I can see how religion is basically an intergenerational conversation. Like, it's about passing stories and values from one generation to the next.
I actually think it's more about prayer.
Okay.
So Adelaide was talking about being connected or linked to her ancestors, to her heritage, through prayer. Mm-hmm. And actually that is something that rang out really strongly when I met someone else called Saha.
Oh, okay. So we're moving on to Saha. Tell me more.
So Saha lives in Preston, but was born in southern India. And I met her in Williamson Park, which is this big green park on the top of a very, very, very steep hill, fully out of breath. And then she emerged with a smile that just covered her whole face. And it's a place in Lancaster that she goes to feel more connected to her spirituality, to her ancestors, like Adelaide, but also her religion. And it's all centred around nature. I really think you're going to love Saha, Adam.
Okay, well, let me listen in to your conversation with her.
Could you tell me where we are right now?
We are in this beautiful Williamson Park, where I first found a secluded place.
See, up another hill.
Yes. I'm going to walk to you through the haunted temple. I would say like maybe it might be built by my ancestors. I don't know who built that. But still, I think there is something related to our culture. That's something related to our, though the scripts are a bit different, the sculptures are a bit different, but still I think there is ancestor souls living there, might be. It's always a pleasure to come here back, though it's a bit far for me from Preston, but still I love to come back here. It reminds me many things. So we have to go that
Okay, great.
all the way around here.
Okay, after you. You're my guide.
Yeah. So we can see like we are in the top and you can have a hilltop view from there, and it reminds you that you are part of nature, and God has created nature in its own way, in its own like kind of inherent potential, and without any judgmental. God's creations are unique, and that's what it reminds me when I come here. So if you see around, it's like a tree house. Tree is surrounded throughout, and there are sun rays coming in through, penetrating through in you. Sometimes the robins, you can see the sweet voices of robins here, and also other birds like magpies, and so it's a very unique place, and I can see some robins now.
I just love as well how it looks like the lights dancing on the
Yes.
steps. It's really beautiful. Okay, should we go and find somewhere a bit more sheltered?
Yeah. Okay. I'm Saha, also known as Jnana Surabhi, means the flow of knowledge, the overflow of knowledge, and Saha means friend. So I'm a trans woman, originally from southern part of India. I'm a spiritual person as well. So I believe in Hindu mythology, which is the only ancient religion which has accepted sexuality and gender variations. So that's close to my heart because I'm from a Tamil culture. So Tamil culture was originally a female-oriented culture, where female are given the prime position. Later on it's been diverged into many things, but the original belief is nature is God. God is nature, and eventually we believe in karmas. Whatever we do, if you do good things will happen to you. If you do bad, and bad things will happen to you. Karma is like a boomerang. What you give to the world is what you get it back. And I believe in the karma, and I believe strongly in Hindu mythology because it's not only about Lord Shiva, the creator, the warrior, and things like that. It's about how nature exists in this world, how we accept things as it is, and how the inner strength is built upon this spirituality. So I gain the inner strength because I've been traumatized as a child. My childhood has very bitter things happening, including sexual harassments, verbal harassments, and things like that. And I'm a person who attempted suicide thrice. I mean, I've been through a lot, and then I gained this resilience, the inner strength, through introspection and in a kind of believing in certain things that Hindu mythology preaches us. So God is unique. God is in the nature, and whenever I felt sad, I go to temple or go to a place where is a nature, and I feel that place as my mother's lap, where I can surrender myself, where I can feel myself, where I can actually feel a little bit important. It's like always nature is a guiding force. there are many stories that happened in my life that nature has protected me when I made that wrong decision. So I feel that Almighty, the God, Lord Shiva, is helping me through nature to realize my potential, to be myself, and that's what it's all about. So for me, religion, spirituality, nature is all embedded in a single world, and I feel it as a kind of a blended experience in my life. Yeah.
I just love the way Saha thinks about things.
Yeah, and she made me realise that I definitely find something big in nature, bigger than me. Like, I don't know, a connection and a kind of ancestry or something. Maybe I'm a hippie, but we all come from Mother Earth and all that.
I mean, preach. But wait until you hear her talking about butterflies.
The main thing to coming here is two things. One is kind of a spiritual place to me, and also the butterfly garden. Butterfly always resembles my life, and butterflies, like butterflies start their life as in an egg and then caterpillar and then cocoon. So I was also like kind of as a child, I was very, I don't know what's going on around me. Because my parents was okay with what I am. They didn't complain, though I had kind of people teased me around. They were never bothered about it. So the caterpillar was wandering okay with that. And then in school days, I had to build a cocoon around myself. Because I was always a secluded person, and I molded into a butterfly when I came to UK. Kind of searching my abode here, searching my life here, to be myself and to be my authentic self. And UK is the country which accepts things as it is. And
Feels like we should go to the butterfly house.
Yes. The most favorite place.
Yeah, okay. Can hear so many birds.
Yeah, robins, blackbird, magpies, and also you have this wagtails. Wagtails are unique.
Ah, wagtails, yeah.
When they stand, they'll just dance with their tails.
So nice.
They are back in India as well. And there are also swallows, swift.
Yes.
Small birds, swift. And
on the train here, I saw loads of them dancing on the fields. How they all move together. So lovely. Okay, so this is the butterfly house here?
Yes, this is the butterfly house.
Okay, hold up. Where are you going? Where are we going then?
We are going to the butterfly house where you can see the different varieties of butterfly, their lifestyle, and as you walk around, you can also, some butterflies come and sit on your hand.
Okay, great.
And
let's do it.
They're very fragile, but it's kind of. See the way the cactus. Some of the plants here are also very unique. The way that they have made here with the dead trees also, they are growing cactus over there. And as you walk around, you can see sometimes the butterflies flying around. And
do you have a favorite?
I have my favorite is a South American butterfly.
Okay.
I don't know what it has a unique name.
What does it look like?
It's like bluish. It's specifically from Mexico, I think, South America.
Okay, let's try and find it.
Yes, definitely. If you see, it's like a small mini natural greenhouse, right? Mm-hmm. So you have a glass window, you have light penetrating through, and you have butterflies flying till the top, and you can see climbers creeping around. Everything is going above the top, away from this mad world.
And it's warm.
It's warm. It's very cozy here.
Yeah.
And you can actually, it's mini nature, though man created one, but like the ones that is, you feel like you're climbing up, you're wandering around, you're seeing the world in a different perspective.
How are you feeling sitting here now looking at all these butterflies?
I feel myself like my soul is flying above this like a butterfly, seeing the world from an eagle's eye. So to me, now prejudice and judgmental behavior all look like a small stone because I'm on the top and I'm flying above, and where people can't reach me and people can't name me, people can't blame me for what things are. So butterflies are resembling my soul. That's owl's eye, yes.
Wow, that's your
Yes.
favourite one?
Yes.
What's the name of it again?
Owl's forest owl.
owl.
Mm.
Wow,
Yeah.
it's huge.
Yes, that's huge, It's from South America because there are two varieties. One is this one. Can you see that? Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. My God, my favorite. Yeah, it's here. Yeah.
Describe it to me.
Yeah, this is the common blue morpho, and this one, forest owl. Forest owl. When it opens, you can see the owl side, right? And then when it opens, it will be blue in color. So the outside is gray. So it forages, and then that's how when it resembles many things like foraging from this outside judgmental world. That's why I like forest owl a lot, because it's also from South America. It migrates. It knows how to live and how to kind of the survival of the fittest. It's one of that. If you see the trunk color and this color will be, so it can actually escape from the predators.
It's clever.
So, yes, clever like me. Sometimes I escape from people who harass me and who kind of try to.
You're the,
So, yeah.
you're the forest owl.
Maybe.
Tell me, Adam, what do you think?
Of Saha, oh, she's great. And those butterflies just sound gorgeous.
Saha is really quite an incredible person. And getting to spend that day with her at Williamson Park, one of her favourite places, among the nature, all the swaying trees, the birds song that she loved so much, and those butterflies. It was like watching her fly with this amazing, infectious smile.
Yeah, I can hear that when she speaks. Well, Tash, thank you for collecting these stories from the Northwest, from Saha and Adelaide, and Lexi and Nick at the church. It's all more stash for the audio archive for the future, isn't it?
It is, and that's this episode done. So 2 more patches, maybe even 3 to add to our quilt.
Yeah.
Also, moving aside my personal views on organised religion, it does make me hopeful that the progressive thinking being pushed by St James and Emmanuel that we've heard about will be followed by other churches before we lose any more people like Lizzie.
Yeah.
I think there is real power in speaking out where you can. But what else is there power in, Adam?
The wonderful queerness of nature?
Yes!
Right, Tash, next episode. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We're off to Scotland. And we're going in search of something missing.
Interesting.
The Quilt is an Aunt Nell production in partnership with Queer Britain, the UK's first and only LGBTQ+ museum, and funded by Mindsets and Missions.
It is hosted and produced by Tash Walker and Adam Smith.
Music by Rhiannon Takel. The assistant producer was Marnie Woodmead.
The associate producers for Queer Britain were Sue Shave, Sian Williams and Catherine Dick. Mixed and mastered by David Pye. For this episode, we'd like to say thanks to Didier Muller from Lancs LGBT, Vicky McCann at Lancashire Archives, Scott Schiavone from Preston City Council, Reverend Nick Bundock from St James and Emmanuel, and the Butterfly House at Williamson Park. If you'd like to talk to anyone about any issues raised in this podcast, you can always get in contact with Switchboard, the LGBTQIA+ helpline, on switchboard.lgbt or by calling them on 0800 0119 100.
Underwear drawers are like the wild west of wardrobes. You never know what pair you're going to pull out or what shape it's in. It's time to upgrade your underwear drawer with the buttery soft comfort of MeUndies. MeUndies' signature fabric is as soft as a warm hug from your favorite sweater. Plus, it's breathable and oh so comfy, making it ideal for all-day wear. Get 20% off your first order, plus free shipping, at MeUndies.com/ACAST. Enter promo code ACAST. That's MeUndies.com/ACAST. Code ACAST.